and Ahmedabad. Like these are pivotal hubs, as I call them, in terms of how we see our operations and where businesses are building their workforce to be able to deliver solutions for our clients. Next slide. This is interesting. So as you're here hearing about JP Morgan, I think what excites you and what brings you is what's in it for me. And a lot of times, people talk to me quite often around, what does it mean to have a job and like how do I build my career? And I keep telling them, right, these two are very different things. You can have jobs anywhere, right? And at the end of the day, the paycheck that comes in matters, right? And like if that's what you're running for. But then when you talk about careers, it is about taking that accountability. It is about going that extra mile. It is about thinking about how do you not just do what you've been tasked to do, but how do you take that and automate it in a way that it can be done more efficiently, it can be done more innovatively. What is the impact that you're driving to the end game, to the end game that we're looking to deliver for our customers and clients? How do you develop a function right from inception to completion and own the accountability of delivering it? And it's going to be very, very important. And that's how we'd like to build people, build their domain knowledge. It is less about, do I know this piece of code in Java that I'm writing, or do I know how to write a particular Python script? It's more about what that is doing, how that's being used, how does it fit into the overall ecosystem, and the business relevance of driving that outcome. So, it is important that we talk and we take pride in our core values, and we talk about, not only how these core values matter in terms of like building the right leaders, building the right culture for the organization, but at the end of the day, doing the right thing and delivering first class business in first class way for every single one of our client and shareholders. And that's why this is going to be very important for you to spend time as you're listening through this and imbibing those cultures, and like what you would absorb through some of the other speakers that are going to come in and talk about like how these programs are run and where you will get help every step of the way, in terms of if you are joining JP Morgan Chase, what does that journey look like for you? I think I'm at time, and I've covered what I needed to. Let's go to the next one. I think I should be handing this back to Shraddha.
Thank you, Anubhav. We will now move on to the next segment, which is about the software engineer program. But before I hand it over to Cassandra, we would like to show you all a small video which talks about technology at JP Morgan Chase. Can we move on to the next slide, please?
When you picture the future of work, what do you see? We see you. At a company that sees and supports you with the resources you need to grow your career. Joining a global workforce that empowers neighborhoods, nations, communities, and families, and that brings together the right people with the resources they need to change the world. The future of work is happening here at JP Morgan Chase. Join us.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be connecting with each one of you today. I am Cassandra. I'm Program Manager for Early Careers in Technology at JP Morgan. And I've had the privilege to be at JP Morgan for the past 11 years, really utilize my skills here, and in turn have received multiple opportunities to grow in my career. We've already heard via Anubhav, about the various platforms that the firm is going to provide you should you join us, and how it really supports each one of us in our career. What I would like to really deep dive into is the Software Engineer Program, or the SEP program as we call it, which is a 2-year career development program for early career talent like you that focuses on providing each one of you with certain foundational skills to ensure and enable you establish a great and successful career in technology. So exactly how does this program ensure you make your dreams possible at the firm? A, you'll be working in one of the world's biggest technology companies. B, you will be developing innovative solutions that make a difference and really impact the day-to-day lives of our customers, our clients, and the businesses around the world. And last but not the least, you'll be working in an open, collaborative, and supportive culture where our agile teams are continuously innovating and at the forefront of developing new technologies and solutions. Our intent throughout the program is to ensure you transition smoothly from a campus environment into a corporate world and then are successful in that corporate world and really develop more skill sets so that you can thrive in it. Talking a little more about the program and the community, the program focuses on providing a great experience to the 4,600 odd engineers that we have globally. We also have a very strong alumni network of over 3,200 alumni. Some of these alumni today are even vice presidents and senior directors at the firm. Our program is present across 5 regions. It covers almost 30 cities, and we focus on curating and providing a great engineer experience to the ones that join us. We also have empowered managers who are part of a circle of support that really enable our new hires to explore cutting edge technologies and automate processes to increase efficiency and streamline overall operations. If I move into the next slide, what I'd like to focus here on are the 3 career opportunities that you have to join us as part of the program. The first one is a summer internship in your 3rd year, where you have an opportunity to work with us for 8 weeks on roles and technologies and really gain that hands-on experience while you're still learning. Moving on to your final year, during the last semester, we do have certain campuses which also offer an option to you to join as an attachment intern or a 6-month intern prior to your full-time role. This really gives you an edge or an early insight into the role that you'll be joining as full-time, and also an early insight into the corporate culture and the corporate world. Finally, last but not the least, the full-time 2-year software engineer program, and you will be meeting some of our alumni later on in a panel discussion, is a curated program for each one of you to ensure you transition smoothly from a campus environment into a corporate world. And you are part of a 2-year roadmap where you are learning and getting developed as you grow in the firm. Post 2 years, you are an SME in your role and you are part of the lines of business and, of course, take on more responsibilities. If I have to summarize and move to the last slide, why would you join the program, or why would you join the SCP program at JP Morgan Chase? Well, there are multiple reasons, but I would like to deep dive into 3 of them. These are the top 3 of my favorites. One is when you join us, you have a circle of support that really enables you be successful, transition smoothly, and this ranges from your manager, program team, or even your alumni that really enables you settle well in the corporate world. You do have a curated role that is curated for you basis your skills and proficiencies. Before you join us, we gather details on your skill sets and your proficiencies and accordingly align a full-time role to you. Last but not the least, like we just heard, you're part of a huge group of next gen of technologists that really enable you launch your career with a dynamic program like ours and enables to connect you with other innovative and passionate technologists. With that, I will hand it back to Shraddha.
Thank you, Cassandra. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay. We will now move on to a video which talks about emerging technologies before we hand it over to Mridula, who will take us through the Tech for Social Good segment. Can we move on to the next slide?
When you picture the future of work, what do you see? We see Aniela.
I grew up in Brazil and I was always fascinated by technology, always trying to tinker with it and try to understand what I could make with it. Here I work on emerging technologies from artificial intelligence to virtual reality, making sure it's secure from the start and highly impactful. That means there's always new amazing opportunities for me to learn and to transform how people use technology all around the world.
The future of work is where your ideas advance the world.
All right.
With that, I shall get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Mridula. I lead the ideation and education portfolio of programs under this wonderful team called Tech for Social Good. Now, if you're wondering why we're speaking to you about this team, it's because you, as our attendees, as a part of the recruitment process, are in fact going to go through one of our flagship programs called Code for Good. Now, who are we as a team? What do we do? Why are we here? Let's give you a glimpse of that through some of our numbers. If we can move to the next slide, please. So we as a team, as Tech for Social Good, have been within this firm for over a decade now, and through it all have been able to make a significant impact through our employees' technical skills, to community members, to nonprofit organizations, and a whole lot more beyond that, right? So you can see the numbers on the screen as it is. Some of our numbers are so large, they don't fit in our slide. 1,500 nonprofits we have worked with in all of these years. We've had in excess of 20,000 employees who've been engaged and have used their technical skills in meaningful ways outside of their day to day work, through which we have accumulated over 1 million hours of volunteering for impact, but with skills. So you can imagine the kind of trickle down effect that really has and the entire effort that goes behind it, right? So, as a team and as an organization, the firm believes that the success of its firm rests firmly in the success of its communities and obviously the success of its employees. And so they are investing time, effort, and people in making these kind of engagements that allow for people to drive purpose, to find passion, and make a difference in their day to day at their work and outside of it. Let's get a sense of what this looks like across the globe. If we can move to the next slide. So we are a global organization. I think that's pretty clear. And where there are technologists, we exist. So we operate out of all of our big tech centers across the globe. In India specifically, we operate out of Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. So if you land up in one of these locations as a software engineer, you are bound to be operating or you're bound to be volunteering in some of our programs. In fact, these are the three locations in which we are going to be having our Code for Good hackathon, which is a part of our recruitment effort. So we will probably see you before you even become an employee. So good luck with that. All right, let's move to the next slide on how we go about doing what we do as a team. So we have lots of employees. They have lots of passion. They have a lot of skills as well, because we obviously bring the best into the firm. And through their skills, what we do is build capacity for our nonprofit partners and other socially focused organizations. We also have tech experiences that we share with people in our community. Now, that translates to ideating and using our skills and creativity to figure out what solutions can be there for our nonprofit partners, and that's what Code for Good is. Then these ideas that come out of Code for Good, the nonprofit goes back, figures out what makes sense for them, what's really feasible, what can be maintained by them. We have Force for Good, where we have our employees over a long-term period who actually build out these solutions. We also run a lot of ideation events for youth in our communities, bring them to our office, show them what it takes to have a career in technology, especially for some of the children and some of the youth from underprivileged backgrounds. So we are a huge team in what we do, but we are a very lean team in terms of the numbers, but the impact is significantly bigger. What do you, as a participant at Code for Good, do? Let's look at that in our next slide. So you have the opportunity to join us at one of our flagship programs without even having joined the firm already. So the privilege of it all, let's not get started. But what you're going to be doing is you're going to be helping our nonprofit partners understand what technology can do for them. Because we are working with organizations who come from a place of perhaps no resources, no understanding, no bandwidth to make all of this happen. You are going to fulfill some of that and show them tech is the future, tech is doable, and you should be looking at it. Whilst you are going to be helping our nonprofit partners, you're not going to be by yourselves. You have our employees will be working alongside you, whilst you rapidly ideate for these technology solutions. It is a very unique learning environment also because you aren't necessarily prepared for what's coming, and that's perfectly okay. You have your skills, you will use them, or you will learn new skills whilst working alongside absolute strangers. And even though our text seems rather small, the impact is unbelievably big. You've got to see it to believe it. So you are, in fact, going to be leaving a real difference, a real mark on our communities in participating in our programs. And we hope you take that experience back with you and use some of your skills for good, whether you join us or not. Now, I've spoken a lot about what Code for Good looks like, what we do as Tech for Social Good, but let's give you a sense of that through real experiences. For that, I will quickly hand it over to Anshuman, who will take us through the panel discussion. So, Anshu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mridula. So a warm welcome to the work experience at JPMC panel for our 7,700 participants odd. I am a technical project manager at JP Morgan Chase and the program manager of Code for Good. I've been with the Tech for Social Good team for over 3 years now. And a fun fact about me is that when I'm not running Tech for Social Good programs, I'm a huge competition and sports freak. So I follow up to 7 sports very closely. So you will find me always curled up in front of a laptop screen or out playing games when I am not, of course, in the work environment. Along with me today, I am also joined by Siddharth, Ritvik, and Nidhi, who are our panelists today. So I will hand it over to them for a quick introduction, and then let's deep dive into the content.
All right. Thanks a ton, Anshuman, and a very good evening to all of you who are present here. My name